There. Hello, everybody. Nice to spend some time with you today. My name is Rob McCormick, and I'm with Salesforce. We're going to take a quick run through today, reviewing Social Studio and how social listening can work, for organizations, groups, or whomever. The topic that we're working with today is COVID-19. Obviously, there's lots of different conversations in around that. But let's take a look here and see, how we've come to that search. So let's actually take a look in our admin section of Social Studio and review the topic profile. And what you should think of when you think of these topic profiles, excuse me, it's a series of keyword groups where we're looking for certain words. So, in this instance, we're looking, it's children, death, vaccination, also looking at employment and quarantine. So we're looking for any one of these first three keywords to come in and also contain any of these keywords here. So think of it as a bit of a mix and match. Similar if we look at the second keyword group, you can see that we're looking for hand sanitizer, we're looking at influenza, sterilization, toilet paper, also containing Donald Trump, FEMA, hospitals, and personal protective equipment. A challenge with this topic has been really in around the keywords themselves, right? So if we think of COVID-19, if we're going to add one here, would we go with it just being all one word? Do we look at it with a hyphen? We can look at it with, actually, the way it will appear on Twitter, it's with an underscore. Also think of, other things that it's been called, right? So we know that it's been called coronavirus, that type of thing. And we make those kind of adjustments here. And we're going to see that our conversations are going to come up quite a bit. But we're going to save this keyword group and save those changes. Something else to note is that we can actually name these keyword groups, right? So if we were thinking here it was in around children, we would have that. And then if we were looking at, is this tied to ourselves? Is it our competitor, our industry, that type of thing? That's something else to consider. Similarly, excuse me, if we look at the second keyword group, let's actually call that COVID-19. And the reason why we're naming this is because it actually, when we get into the platform, we're able to look at the conversations and actually filter them. So we're going to save that. That's great. Save our topic profile. And once those are built, they're going to continue to run in the back end. You've seen just how easily they can be modified, just by changing keywords. But now if we go into Social Studio Analyze, here's where we're going to take a look at our social listening. So we're going to create a dashboard and the social listening summary. And this is fueled with our topic profile that we had. So COVID-19, we're going to select that. We're going to open it up. And by default, we're looking at conversations in the past week. So you can see there's a very high volume of conversations. There are 973,000 posts that we've tracked just based on those keywords that we had in the past week. We can see that that's actually down 16% over the previous week. The majority of the conversations are happening in Twitter with mainstream news, forum replies, blogs. There's a bit of Facebook, YouTube, etc. We're able to see how that has gone day by day, where the conversations have happened. So you can see again where Twitter's had such a large share of the conversations. We could go and actually hit a day where there was a spike. So last Thursday was the high point. And we're able to quickly go in by selecting that date, and we can see, okay, here's what's happened on that day. We're actually able to sort this. And if we sort by influencer score, we can see who the most influential folks were on that day as part of that overall conversation. And because it's such a high number, it's going to take just a second here. But we're able to, sort by the influencers, sort by the date that things have come in. And you can see that, the top individual or organization within this is CNN, right? And because of the number of followers they have, that takes them up to give them an influencer score of 98. You can also see that this post has been viewed with negative sentiment. So just a quick snapshot. And, it's interesting to look at this today. It's also very interesting when we look at this, whether it's 3 months from now, a year back, what have you, to see what trends were like over periods of time. But yeah, we can see that, we can see what the feed is like. We can see who the top influencers are as part of the conversations in around this topic profile. So you see, folks, you see the ABC News, you see BBC, CBC here in Canada where I'm based, CNN, lots of influential folks. And then this is interesting as well to see the top words. And here's where we would take a look and review just to make sure that we're on point in terms of our conversations, right? So if we saw something here that seemed a little bit out of the norms, right? If they're talking about, maybe it's they're talking about the Orioles or they're talking about the Ravens, is this really sports related? Why are these things happening? So if we saw something that jumped out and seemed a bit odd, we could grab a hold. So one thing that I see is campaign, right? And then I'm wondering, okay, is this in around, are people looking to fundraise? Are there things going on? So this gives you another snapshot in terms of, what those keywords are. And again, it goes by the size. So the bigger they appear, the more often they are in those overall conversations. Size and color just for separation and differentiation on the screen. We can also see as we scroll down how our keyword groups are divided. So that's the important thing there when we have the different keyword groups in our topic profile. By defining them, now we're able to take a look and see where those conversations are happening. And we can see that the majority of the conversations, 95% of them actually, are in around COVID-19, whereas that keyword group that we had in around children, that was 5%. So interesting to see, as you build out a number of different keyword groups, you can see, okay, what are we looking at in terms of share of voice, share of conversation, right? And is it, how we're doing versus our competitors or within our overall industry. Conversation is happening largely in the US, you can see with 80% of it. And then it breaks down from there. And when the topic profile was built, it was designed for English only. Something else to bring your attention to at the bottom that's very important is the sentiment, right? And we know that COVID-19 is not a positive conversation that folks are having. So it's expected to see that, there are 62% of the conversations are viewed as negative, whereas, we have 32% positive. We're also able to take a look and see how this has developed, day by day. You might see that there was an announcement that might drive things in towards a positive light, that kind of thing. Also, remember that you're able to tailor this. If we wanted to look at, what has happened in the past month, excuse me, you'll see now that our volume is going to spike a fair bit. We're looking at 3.4 million conversations, and how that has jumped over previous periods, right? So again, as we look at those longer periods of time, we're able to see, follow those trends and know when things have happened, when there's been ups, when there have been downs. Here when we look at those top words, making sure that we're on point, seeing who our influencers are within the conversations. It's all just an important way to look. So we have that as our social listening summary. There are also a number of other dashboard opportunities that we have here if we had social accounts connected. So whether it was Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus is still actually listed, YouTube, Instagram hashtags, Pinterest, engagement summary, or even a blank template where you can go and you can kind of mix and match from these. We do know that we have a couple of Twitter accounts here. So let's take a look and see what those results are like. In the past week, we can see that we've had 85 posts. That breaks out to 60 tweets that were from those two accounts, and that there were 25 mentions. We're able to take a look and see what your follower trend has looked like in the past week, the feed, and then that media type trend. So, volume of our tweets versus mentions. And again, you can see here, there's a big change compared to our last screen that we looked at, where you can see that 77% of these tweets are viewed as being positive, right? And we can see that on March 31st, there was a big jump on positive content. And you can see, where our top posts have come in and that sort of thing. So again, just a different way to look at things. Our top words are there. Always interesting to see how things vary channel by channel. You might find that conversations are a little bit different on Twitter versus Facebook. We can also see which posts are our top posts. So here we can see, we had an engagement here of 3 on this particular post, 1 on this. We're also able to see that overall engagement trend over time. So interesting to be able to look at things with that light. Something else we'll just take a quick look at here while we have a second is actually our workbenches. And this is really where, if you're into data, you can come in here and really kind of go to town. Where we will come in and we grab a topic profile, and where the other dashboards are built out and they tell you a story straight away. With workbenches, you're in control and you're able to come in and take care of things on your own. So you can see we're going to start from 973,000 posts. But if we maybe want to take a look and we go and we break down demographics, so if we go by age, we're able to then kind of dissect the audience who is taking part here. And again, where it's such a large group, it'll take a second here with close to 1 million results, but we'll see how it breaks out by age groups. And then see from there, even how the conversation varies, right, from one group to the other. Again, it's a fairly large group. There we go. So if we look, we can see the age group of 45 to 54. Maybe we'll take a look and see, what are the top words that are being mentioned, and maybe compare that to the folks who are 21 to 24. And we might find that, we're seeing a completely different story, just conversation-wise. So this is a really great way to kind of dig in and better understand your audiences and how they view things, and very helpful, obviously, with marketing, right, to see, what kind of impact we've had with our campaigns and that sort of thing. So you can see, obviously, hospitals are big. I'm just looking to see if there's anything that kind of jumps out. Like it could be, different things, right? Like that will kind of pop here. So we see, congressional, disseminating, whereas here everything is largely in around, kind of the overall conversation around COVID-19. But we could also take this and, again, see what the volume trend has been like. So again, just being able to kind of slice and dice those conversations and understanding your audiences. There's a lot of power here that you can come in and you can just dig in and tell your own story. As you can see, this was set. It's a 1 week window, and we're looking at overall posts. Something else that you can do with this is you can actually take this, and instead of looking at count by posts, we could go, if it was a smaller data set, we could actually go and see who the unique authors were, right? So to see the leading folks within the conversations. But that's a quick jump into Analyze. Super powerful tool. Again, we're using our social listening through topic profiles that we'll bring through our dashboards here. We can connect our social accounts, and also think of your workbenches as those spaces to go and to dig in and really draw your analytics. And as you find results that you find that are on point, you can also take those and turn those into reports that you're able to share with individuals on your team or larger organizations. But a quick run through on Social Studio. Thank you all for your time. Wish you all the best as we face this challenge that we're in currently, and take care of yourselves and be well. Thank you for your time.